Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the week that we are live. We are live. It's the show that you love so much. And today we have interesting people in the building with us. Right. And these are people that love Africa. I've been following Tara's Facebook, and I was like, wait a minute, like this woman really loves Africa. And I said, no, it would be awesome for her to be on the show and to make it more interesting. She said, you know what? I'm going to come with my husband. And sitting right there, I can see Tara with their husband. Guys, let us put our hands together for these awesome couples. Yes, so we are glad to have you guys here. And here in Africa, we are joined with one of our brothers, Mr. Hoso. Mr. Hoso is all the way from Free State. So if you come to South Africa is a very big country. Like the landmass is massive. He has just gone, then it's fine. He will come back. The landmass of South Africa is like really, really massive. So when somebody said they are in Free State, it means they are living like miles away from where I'm sitting. I am here in Johannesburg. Johannesburg is the economic capital of South Africa. So when he comes back, he will introduce himself. And joining me is my brother, Mr. Ajamu. Mr. Ajamu is the co-host of the show. Mr. Ajamu is actually in Orlando, Florida, United States of America. And we are always on this show doing one thing, bringing the knowledge, because one thing we believe is that knowledge is power. If you know something, it is very hard for anybody to take advantage of you. And we are always pouring that knowledge to the young Africans, because somebody who do not know much will always be playing what we call the blame game and all of those things. So we want to like wash all of those things away and inculcate in our African people the real knowledge of who they are. And yes, and that's the reason why we are glad to have all of you today to discuss a topic that is very, very sensitive to African people: corruption or faulty colonialism. What exactly is killing Africa? Now, before we go any further, I will allow Mr. Koso to say one or two things from Free State, South Africa.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now that we have started, I must just say again, my name is Hoto, and for those people overseas, the name means peace, shalom.
Beautiful, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoso, for joining us. And
I am sorry to have cut out there. Can you hear me?
Very clear, very clear.
Okay, I can't hear.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I will continue. I can't hear anyone, but I hope everybody can hear me. I can see the signals. The reason why I have joined in today is because, as I have explained to my host, one of my very close friends has invited me to join the discussions on on this topic because I've recently had an interaction with him regarding this issue. First of all, what I always tell people is that the definition of the word corruption to most of the people is unclear. Whenever I talk to people, the word corruption is almost, I listen to the news, wherever I go, politics, everywhere, especially in Africa. The word corruption is the B word, meaning, but every time I apply my mind to what do these people mean by corruption. I'll make an example. I'll give you an example. Recently, as recent as last year, when the COVID-19 pandemic was the beginning, the state president alluded to some money being put aside for for COVID relief and all of those things. I remember that because it happened in March, and we sort of like in South Africa, I don't know other people, we sort of like heard about it in the beginning of, we heard about it, more seriously in the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, we were supposed to go on lockdown. And one of the first things that that went on was that, and I'm making the clearest example here. One of the first things that I knew was going to have to happen was that everybody should get a mask. Everybody should get this, and everybody should have sanitizers, especially when it comes to masks and sanitizer, because those were the most talked about preventative measures that were supposed to be taken. And then after a few months, towards the end of last year, some corruption had happened, some so-called corruption had happened to the extreme. I was driving on my way to work when I was listening to the news, and after reading the news anchor was talking to the presenter on the day, and they were talking about, gee, South Africa has gone to the docks. This amount of corruption we've never seen. And she had just read about news about a car wash owner, an owner of a car wash being awarded a tender in the region of millions of rands for sanitizers and masks. Now, the main reason why they called it corruption to me was because this person happened to own a small business, car wash business, a small car wash business, and had nothing to do with, which had nothing to do with it. But I said it had everything to do with it. I'm taking myself as an example. I'm sitting as a car wash owner who is ambitious enough to reach for higher dreams. But in the midst of all that, here comes an opportunity. And let us take into account two things here. Do I need skills to sell sanitizers, and do I have to have a master's degree or something? And if I do get it, why should people look at it as corruption? Why should people label it corruption? You know why it was labeled corruption? It was because a black person, for instance, had just moved from being an ordinary person that earns a couple of thousand rands a month to a multi-millionaire. And I said to myself, what is wrong? What could be wrong with that? What could be wrong with that? The only thing that I found to be wrong was that someone somewhere is trying to tell all my black brothers the definition of the word corruption, and they are buying into it. We are all buying into it. And you know, I am always up to here listening to the word corruption, because everyone, the state president, the ministers, everyone, everything that you do is corruption. Black people are stunned. I look at I'm looking at public servants, for instance, those in the higher echelons. I'm talking about your directors, your DGs, which are called director generals in the public service, the ones who are supposed to be actioning everything that is who are in the forefront of the administration of our public service. Those people, even if they have master's degrees and doctorates and everything, those people are frozen to death. They can't take decisions because they don't even understand what corruption is. But they are afraid of this huge thing called corruption, because you start selling to me, you start giving me a tender worth millions. Somebody doesn't like me becoming a million because I'm too dark or too, I don't know. I'll call it by a spade by its own name. I am too black to be a multimillionaire. And yes, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. I shouldn't have
Yeah.
millions. I should be somewhere. A million is enough for me. I don't know. I don't even know if they think a million is enough for a black person. But the word corruption, the B word. And to me,
I
the
think
topic of
I
today,
think
lastly, to me, the topic of today deals with corruption and colonialism. And do you
yes,
see that? Do you see when I saw this topic for the first time, I learned something very interesting. It is
yes,
the colonialists who are
yeah,
defining this thing,
oh
and
yeah,
they think I don't understand what corruption is. Everything that everything that they want to label corruption is corruption. And me talking to my friend, I'm always like, Hugh, I can be yo, but let me tell you something. This this is just not it. With Africa, this is just not it. I don't know how to end it. I don't know how to end it, but it needs to stop. I hope everybody is listening to the example, a simple example that I've just made. And there are millions that I listen to every time. People do not have anything. You'll just hear Ramaphosa is corrupt. What? What did he do? No, in the news they said he's corrupt. Every time the electricity goes down, somebody is corrupt, and most of the time Africans are being blamed for this corruption for some odd reason. Anything goes south, as you in the USA will always say, we are to blame, and we are frozen to death with this. People, managers cannot take decisions. The country can. Our country is at a standstill. People can't take decisions, and I feel sorry for them. But at the same time, I always tell myself, you know, where I work, I'm a manager where I work. I would not like to work. I mean, frying pans would fly in the office if I were to work in a public office space and be told not to take a decision because that might be construed by someone in the dark area somewhere, especially the media, telling the media that I am corrupt for taking a decision. I mean, somebody had to take a decision. Here we are in the middle of a pandemic that needs sanitizers and face masks. Somebody has to take a decision. And I don't need a degree. I don't need, all I have to do, I don't even need skills. All I have to do is get a box of 27, and nowhere have they explained that the car wash owner, for some reason, overcharged. And what is overcharging what does overcharging has to do with it? I would ask. But he did not. They don't say he did not deliver the face mask. He delivered the face mask. He delivered those things. He doesn't need to have a skill. The only problem is that he's a multimillionaire from uh, for some odd reason that doesn't sit well with some people.
Yeah. So, Mr. Kuhuso, we are going to come back to you. You have to give us the definition of corruption, because for what you've just said now, you just said a lot to my head, and I'm beginning to think that am I being too hard on my African leaders, and because I'm one person that criticized them to the core, and to me, I feel as if we are where we are today because of corruption. But before we come back to you, I would love Pence and the wife to introduce themselves, and yeah, so that we can go forward. Thank you so much, Tara, and your husband. We would love to hear from you guys now.
Thank you for your guys' time. It is greatly appreciated. My name is Tara. This is my husband, Justin. We're in Northern California. And again, all of your guys' time is appreciated. And to everybody who is listening, thank you for listening, because being open to hear is always a good step for all of us. And we are also open to hearing and learning, and that's really an invaluable part of everything. I also want to just take a moment, because what is a new tradition here, as I'm very into the making sure that we are acknowledging the lands of which we sit, because we are a colonized nation. We have taken lands. Even where I sit and go to school is on stolen lands from the Indians that the colonials came in and pushed them out. And in part of acknowledging it, we want to acknowledge the Maidu tribes and the tribes of the Salish, Kootenai, and Blackfoot of Montana, because that's where I'm from. And we want to acknowledge Ishi. Yeah. So, and we just want to acknowledge the lands anytime, wherever we are at, because that is the truth of where we sit today. I don't sit on the lands of the colonials. I sit on the indigenous lands of the people, of our tribes. So I honor our lands, and I honor the lands of which everyone sits today where you are, and to those who have been maintaining and caring for the lands for us to be here. So on that, thank you, and blessings to what's about to begin. Colonialism is very real. Corruption is also very, very real. And money is a very big impact to those who might be falling into corruption. I do not feel all those that have money are corrupt. I feel it's what you do with your power that matters the most. So if you're taking and you have this money and you're not giving back, I do call you out on it, because yes, it comes with great responsibility. And we expect those who have these powers to do a lot with their responsibility. Not only here, but there and around the world. I'm seeing myself disappointed in the political parties for not standing in humane matters across the world. You know, our levels are different, but the struggles are very similar and the same. You know, what is corruption and what is colonization? And maybe they go hand in hand. I'd like to also know that we were discussing this yesterday and kind of laughing, because this is almost like political philosophy or philosophical politics. I don't know, you can put them hand in hand.
Yes, I'd just like to touch on it for a moment because here in my country in America, I'm still learning a lot about the situation in Uganda. But here, I myself am a political prisoner. I'm currently an indentured servant for several weeks more and have lost my civil rights for the last couple years for teaching people how to heal each other of cancer and epilepsy, autism, and many other disorders, strictly by the healing powers of nature, of having careful responsibility of all of the knowledge of healing that has been stewarded to us. Um, the corruption lies in the fact that I make nothing for showing someone how to heal themselves, but they lose millions of dollars for every patient they lose that cures themselves from cancer and that is able to stay out of these multi-million-dollar cancer facilities. So just on one aspect alone, you see the corruption of just taking the ability of the people's power to heal themselves. And we started here as a republic. In a true republic, the individual has sovereignty, their liberty and their individual rights are observed as long as they don't violate the good of the many, which is everyone else. And we see that when the focalization of government turns into one focal power, it's really a federalist domination situation and not a true republic at all. The liberty of the individual is cast aside and our votes no longer matter. The word of the people and the will of the people is not what's in control over here. And what I see happening is that the world monetary system is taking control of the individual as chattel property. The governments and corporations are given the rights of the individual, while the individual is left asunder and cast down, and they sign over the rights to the gold and the rights to the lands in order to obtain a fiat money, which is created out of thin air by a deceiver who is giving you something and charging you extra, charging you the principle of compounding interest, which is a violation against humanity whenever a government or a people controls a person of an entire nation by financial means and gains their existence solely upon the taking of the people and the subjugation of the people. Then that government should not exist. It's not a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And so we stand here today in solidarity for the liberty of all people. And let us, if we can't be united by the color of our skin, let us be united by the conditions of our hearts. My people, I'm mixed. I was raised.
That was deep, man.
So
That was
much
deep.
love,
Mr. Ajahn,
much
what do
love
you
to
have to
everyone.
say about
Yeah, well said. I know the sister mentioned the lands in the northwest there, from California over to Oregon into Washington State. I actually, in my garage, I fly the AIM flag, the American Indian Movement flag, which is above me.
Thank you.
So I'm pretty
Yes.
very aware of. I mean, I have family that are supposedly Blackfoot, and some other indigenous people and so forth. So I get it, and I've been following the movement, and I know there was some AIM people who were part of the Black Panthers at one time. So I do understand the struggle. I have family who are also not only under colonialism in the United States, but they're in colonialism over in Puerto Rico as well. Puerto Rico has been a colony since 1903, and no one's, unfortunately, a lot of those Puerto Ricans don't even know they're in a colonial state, and they therefore are not trying to free themselves to be a sovereign people. As far as what the brother was saying about healing and all of that, that is true. I followed the brother from Honduras. His name was Dr. Sabi, and that brother had some natural remedies on how to cure yourself from all of the things that he mentioned, cancer and all this other stuff. And unfortunately, he was, in my opinion, assassinated. He was murdered. So he's no longer with us, but his knowledge is still here. His family still understands the great work that he did. And I'm pretty sure brother's doing a lot of good stuff. Everybody's doing a lot of good stuff. I agree with the statement that we got to come together somehow, unify, how, you know, in some way, some fashion. Can't always be at odds with people. We may not agree with everybody, but at least we can come together on the aspect of, you know, everybody has their place and everybody respects each other and so forth. So corruption now, for me, corruption, my name, Ajamu, means he who fights for what he wants. So it doesn't necessarily, you know, it doesn't stand for peace, doesn't stand for war. It just means I'm fighting against something that I want. I'm fighting for unification. I'm fighting for non-corrupted, you know, governments, or non-corrupted people, I should say, because the people have to be corrupt first in order for the government to be corrupt.
Yeah.
So I'm against any, I mean, I've been in positions where I had authority. I was in law enforcement. I was in the military. It's up to that individual to say, you know what, this is wrong. What we about to do is wrong, and I'm not doing it. Now, some people are so afraid because they're going to lose their job or they're going to lose their livelihood or whatever, that they go along with it. To me, that is a coward. To me, you're buying into whatever corruption is being perpetrated on in that time, on that particular day, or what have you. I've never been that type of person. If I notice something is corrupt, I leave it. Bye. See you later. I quit. I'm going to move on and do something else. So it comes down to the individual as far as corruption is concerned. Now, colonialism is a deep subject in its own, where colonialism, its main objective is to make you forget what happened for you to be colonized. So you got to make the people forget who they are and what actually happened to them. And then later generations will never fight back because they don't even know what happened and they don't even know who they are. So I can go into that a little bit later as well. So that's the main focus of colonialism, in my opinion. I mean, I could have left some things out, and hopefully I'm not offending anybody, because that's not my purpose. My purpose is to educate. I am a teacher. I do teach world history and so forth. But the thing is that the corruption part goes down to the individual person. If you're in a position of power, do you stand up against whatever force is coming at you, or whatever group of people that may be coming at you? I know if I was, even though I've never thought about politics, never thought about entering into any type of politics at all. But I think a great leader is one that has integrity. So when there's nobody around, they're able to do the right thing. And I think the sister Tara, right? That's it, right? That's it, right? Yep. Right, Tara. Yeah. She mentioned people if they got all this money, do something good with it. Like, you know, do something good with it. And hey, I'm going to bring up the topic of Wi-Fi in Africa. You got all that money over there. Build the Wi-Fi up. Come on, y'all. Give everybody some electricity, some water. Come on, man. You got all this money. Stop hoarding it. Just give everybody the basic living things, okay? And then let's move forward, because there's a lot of other problems.
And Brother Ajam, let me come in there. That is what I want to talk to, ask Huso, what he's trying to talk about, corruption. That is where I kind of disagree with him, because if you look at, for example, if somebody has a contract or a tender to build a road, and this road passes through your town, and you do not construct that road, rather you took that money and you built some house somewhere to just benefit you and your people, then to me, I feel that that is corruption. And if you look at our African citizen, that is so rampant. If you look at South Africa at least is better to compare with other African countries. So Hoso will not know deeply what I'm talking about. If you go to, and I know Nigerians are watching me, Cameroonians are watching me,
Oh, man.
Congolese are watching me, and all of these people are watching me. But I am saying it with no fear. These are people that are corrupt to a point that they don't mind taking the money that is meant for the public fund that is meant for the people. Now, come to think of this, my brother Koso, you remember the funds that were meant to relieve people during the COVID-19. People stole that money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine this kind of a thing. Like there was a story I even shared with Ajamo, and how somebody told me that, okay, cool, let's do that, let's do this. I've never had $1 million in my life, but then I look at it. How am I gonna take? Like, this is so many people's money. You are trying to be a millionaire at the expense of so many people. How do you sleep at night?
Wait.
How,
Yeah, I was gonna say something real quick, brother. I'm not trying to interrupt, but build the road. You got the money, build the road. Plain
No,
and simple.
it-
Second thing is, if you work together, everybody can have millions, supposedly, metaphorically. Okay, because it's not always about the money. It's not always about the money. So once again, it goes back to integrity and character. Goes back to integrity and character. Go ahead, brother.
So I want to ask Mr. Hoso his own definition of corruption, because from where I'm sitting, like we can talk about colonialism. We were not the only people that were colonized. The Indians that came into South Africa, they came through the slave ship. But as we talk right now, they're the second most richest people in South Africa. How does that happen? Why is it that with us it's so hard for us to escape poverty? Because one person gets on top and wants to embezzle everything.
I think Tara
So
won.
also, I don't know, but then, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I
Yes,
can.
Mr. Oka, I don't know, but then if you can explain to me, because to me this is a pain. Like, I don't want to lie. Like, I'm originally from Nigeria, and what I talk to you now, that is a rich country, but if you go there, people are suffering because one person occupies 90% of the wealth of the whole community, and the 90% are living on the 10%.
Yes.
Of wealth.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the weirdest thing about what you have just said is that none of those people are rich in a true sense, are wealthy in the true sense. I've watched the latest list of the richest people in the world, Africans, with all the natural resources and minerals that we've got. We don't go anywhere. And let me say at this point that I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. But with the example that I was making, these things tend to be confused because of the colonialization of our people. You know, the explanation for colonization was well said earlier on, because you know, people do not know their past. They don't know their worth. I think we deem ourselves worthless in a sense that if I do I do hurt you, and I don't see that I'm hurting myself, that is uncalled for. And people do it to an extent that I will go out and you know, get myself involved in all of these things that you have just explained before you asked me the question, knowing without even winking. The guy has got 4 kids and a wife, a good place, and he's taking a huge risk to turn everything upside down just like that because of looking at the quick gains. But when I started saying this, I was not negating what you came up with. But all I was saying was that we Africans also need to be very careful that nobody anywhere defines the corruption to us, because we end up with that kind of confusion where, with the example that I made, the guy delivers. He doesn't need skills to have, he doesn't need skills to have a bucket and a box full of, what is that, sanitizers, hand sanitizers, and all of those things. He goes and delivers, he gets the money, and all of a sudden, the money is wasted. If that happens, yeah, we're standing a good chance of losing the best that could ever happen to us to get to where we want to go, because we label everything, even that which is not corruption. Someone was taking a podium in Lutuli House, that is the governing party, the African National Congress headquarters. He took a podium and he was saying something that I've always been warning people about, and for the first time somebody agrees with me. Everybody is corrupt. If we take that definition of corruption, every minister that we have, everyone in the African National Congress must go to jail.
Yes.
Everybody
And that's where
must
I'm
go
going
to
to tap
jail.
in.
But
May
what
I
I'm
tap
saying,
in?
yes,
Brother, yes, you are hitting it on the nail that I'm going to step in now, and I'm going to tangent. Yes, the corruption is that we're keeping the minds taken down. I'm going to use, it's a case here in America called the Brown versus the Board of Education. We used to there was a study done where they took children of African natures from different locations, and they brought them into an office, and they put dolls down. They put white dolls and they put black dolls down. They gave the child choices. They would say, pick up the doll that resembles good. And it's strange because this black child would pick up a white doll. They would say, what doll is bad? And they would pick up a black doll. They would say, what child or what doll to you do you want to be like? They would pick up a white doll. These are children. These are questions by adults, because what has happened in segregation is very real. Yes, we did this because it's controlled mindset. This system isn't built. It's built to do this. It's built to keep us oppressed and suppressed. It's meant to keep us from in that fear that you're not going to step up, because if you step up and take a stand for your people and you have money, you're going to be deemed corrupt. No, they want you to think that. We've been taught to believe that money is evil. We've been taught to believe that money is bad, so that we don't pursue it, so that we don't challenge or question anything of where it is. But actually now more than ever, yes, question your politics. Why? Because we're going to go back to Britain. We're going to go back to when we came to those shores of your guys' coast, and we decided we wanted to use that to travel and do our fair trade, so to say, once upon a time when it all began. But instead, we decided you guys weren't going to share with us. So we decided we're going to push it. I'm saying we, but I don't mean me, but in general, colonize. This is what happened from Britain. I mean, these red coats overtook nation after nation. We're talking imperialism. This is not okay. The systems of which we're learning to, what we're accepting as our government, is a dictatorship. Even here in America, they would rather hand our brother and sister needles and tell them to go get high. And we would rather see them on the streets. And we're going to call this compassion so that they can, have a clean needle? We're going to offer them Narcan so that when they overdose, they can try it again? I'm sorry, but they're killing the souls and the hearts of the people so that they keep them oppressed and suppressed. Even during COVID, this time more than ever, we have homelessness. We have people hungry. We have dirty water. We have polluted water around the world. What is going on? Because I'm holding our government to this. And I'm questioning our government. I'm questioning Africa's government right now. I think now more than ever, we need you guys all to see that the political presidency even is a great example of what just happened of corruption. This corruption falls deep. America just has riots busting out right and left. I mean, I believe I know somewhere in South Africa, hundreds are fleeing. Why? Where is our government? Why is this happening? Because it should not be. How are you guys the poorest country with such rich mineral and nature? Oh my goodness, yes, it's time to take it back, my friends. And if anything, well, schooling, it's not meant to give you the degree so that you can go become wealthy or rich or give you this, but it's to open your mind to learn and give you the freedom to rewrite this history so that we can change these narratives. Because no, I'm not going to look and blame anybody around me as a Black, African American, or Indian that is near me. I'm not even going to look at the race. Right now, I'm questioning my political players. How come my government, this corporation, we hire them as Americans? We hire our government, and right now they need fired because this is a corporation. You guys are a republic, but the laws are not being implemented in humane ways that make it a republic. And this is time. No man should be in power for 37 years. 37 years, his time? I'm sorry. He has had a chance to create a result, and there has been no result. I want to ask you guys a question.
Yes.
May I ask, is there any political party or president or leader in Africa who has the heart truly for Africa that Africans themselves believe in? Is there one there? I'm wondering. Because I want to know where I want to know where your king is. I want to talk to the king, not the president. Honestly,
wow.
I'm livid. I'm livid. I want to see my fellow friends. Let us honor your gold.
Yeah, the question.
Create your currency.
The question you asked was funny. Me and Huso, we are laughing because we are trying to look at it. The 54th president, we are trying to get one that we can tell you, but then now.
Right?
This is not funny. This is not funny, but then it's funny in a way that
it's very real.
Yeah, in a way that we have 54 head of states, and you just ask a question that can we provide one, and I see the look that Huso gave to me, and I see the look I give to him because among the 54, and there was a video that I made called African Arise. Many people criticized me for it because in the video I spoke about there is no functioning African country anywhere. I said they are all
that
dysfunctional.
breaks my heart.
Yes.
I was hoping you had an answer.
Yeah, so now when I said that, everybody was like, some people were like, no, that is so harsh, but then it's not harsh. Like if our countries like Ghana, who got their independence like 50-something years ago, if a 50-something-year-old person is still blaming his parent of being nothing, how can you look at that 50-something-year-old person? You understand? So the thing is that, frankly speaking, even if we try to like create one, we cannot unequivocally say this is the country that is doing well among the 54, because even those that created, I remember a friend from Nigeria told me that they wanna separate and go to another country and form another country. And I said something. You know the new country that has been created in Africa, South Sudan. South Sudan, They wanted independence. They got the independence. The question is not about the independence. The question is, what are you going to do with the independence? You understand?
Independence.
Yes, you understand. What are you going to do with it? Do you just want to create a country so that you can become a president, so that you can now have so much money? Africa is not more populated than China. China is more populated than Africa, but it's ruled by one person, and there is
Yes.
that level of corruption that we're talking about is not like that in that place. So to your question, man, like we don't have, and there I am not sorry to say it, we don't have. Except Kuso has a country that he think is functioning. But from my side, I don't know.
I do. Very funny if you when you mention it, but I do, and I think every you know uh, Tanzania has just been one shining example recently with the passing away of the president. May his soul rest in peace.
Yes.
You know, the only difference that I saw was that with colonialists, they don't let go. Colonialism is remote controlled nowadays. Or most of or almost all of our heads of states are under colonialism rule. They are being told, it's
Yes.
very funny. Yes, a state president gets into the room. He's being told what should happen or should not happen. If he doesn't
Yep.
if he doesn't toe the line, then there's going to be some form of a rebel group that is armed to the teeth to get him out to get him destabilized. All of those things. But I am sitting here. The only reason that I came on this platform is because I see this as a way of reawakening of the giant
Amen.
that is Africa.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I
Yes.
know for a fact, that we have a lot of people that are capable of becoming incorruptible leaders, because
Good.
the topic of today is very interesting. Colonialism and corruption go hand in hand. They go hand in
They
hand. To
do.
me, that is one. Yes,
Yes.
that is they cannot be separated when it comes to governance at every level, at the topmost level or at admin level or whatever. As long as there's governance, those two cannot be separated. But I
Correct.
am sure that with our brothers having this kind of a platform, we will be able to reach more people and leaders there are leaders that are coming up. It's amazing. I've seen a group of young leaders here in South Africa, and every time I I always am at awe at the kind of mental capacity that each of them are displaying, and
Good.
I that gives me hope to say we will
Good.
get to a stage. It might not be in my lifetime, but we will somehow. If it happens to my children, I will be the happiest man. I will rest in peace. But yes, but we will get this out of the way, because you know there are no for our people. I know them, or I always feel for them also, that sometimes you have a leader that is corrupt, because he has been corrupted. He has been made to be corrupt, not because he chose to be corrupt, but he found himself, at a leadership position, met someone he didn't know, he was signing a pact with the devil, so to speak. but they wherever they are, they will one day open their mouths, and we will hear a lot of shocking stories. I know that, I know for a fact. We will hear a lot of shocking stories. They are, they know once we are on a platform like this and we are talking down their corruption, that the time is nearing the end. Their time of corrupt activities is nearing the end, and they must, they must do the honorable thing, and
Yeah.
just let their swords stand right up, and die on their swords, so to speak.
Yeah,
Thank you.
my
I don't know
thing.
if I make sense.
That's an undeniable truth.
Yeah, real quick. I'm not in Africa, but my thing is that whatever system is being implemented now needs to be completely destroyed. Let's do away with the president.
Yeah.
Let's do away
And
with the
that's
vice
even
president.
here.
Get rid of that. Get rid of all that junk. Get rid of all that.
Yes.
Get rid of all of that.
Yes.
Get rid of it. And then
We
you
need a
got to
whole new
start over.
parties.
Yeah, you got exactly. You got to start
Yep.
over with
Yep.
something new, something brand
Yes.
new. What
Yes.
I've noticed in the
Yes.
past about ancient Africa is that they had councils. So it wasn't one person at the top; it was a council.
Yes.
And then at the top of the
Yes.
council was a queen mother, and she decided who was fit to rule and who wasn't. The question I ask is, what African leader does anyone trust? And if you can't trust that leader, they shouldn't even be in the position of power, so-called power.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see?
yeah.
So
And you have the power to take them out.
They
yeah,
can.
and then
And
you
they are
gotta
not your
watch.
rulers. They are your representatives.
Right, exactly.
I'm
There you
saying
go.
they represent you. They should
Right.
represent the will and the word of the people
Because
to the
right,
governmental issues at
I
hand.
agree. I agree with you. And on the
Quite
same
right.
on the same token, you rule yourself. You're the ruler of yourself. You
Yes.
are the king of yourself. You are the person that rules yourself. And I think that's a very powerful statement that I'm making on this platform. But I don't mind making it because in my mind I know that. So anything else doesn't work for me. It cannot work for me because my mindset already changed. So I'm hoping the
Yes.
brothers and sisters on that side realize that you alone are the ruler over your own self, and that whoever you put into so-called position or whatever you want to call it, they're working on behalf of the people. And whatever they
Yes.
decide, they want you to do or whatever, since they can't be in that position 24 hours a day. And if they can't be in that position, they don't need to be there. Then you would have a council of people that are what do you call it? They're everyone's represented in that council. You see, so you have every group represented in the council, and they all talk together and work
Yes.
things out.
Yes.
Some people say, "Well, we already got that. It's called the UN." It don't work. The UN ain't never worked. I ain't
It
never seen it
doesn't
work.
work.
Really, it doesn't really work. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying.
I even seen I join in with the African Union too, Friends of the African Union. And the other day I seen a comment and someone made it mention how the panel is primarily white while Africans get lectured. And I'm going to agree. And I'm not going to say that we're even here to say, hey, you need to be listening. What we empower is for you guys to empower the person who's meant to lead your tribe. Build that council, build all your tribal council, put them together and take power back within your government, because ultimately that's what we did. Well, I say we, Britain came in and pretty much did. Britain pretty much came in and implemented all their power structure, and it was never questioned. And now if Africa unites as one and every tribe has a leader, send them to a council and keep it closed to those leaders that you
Consensus by
trust.
silence.
Yes, consensus by silence. Like, it can be done. And maybe we just need to show and teach the politics that aren't being taught, because that's what they teach you in the universities. So only those who get educated get to know the level or how the politics work. So if we can help and give you guys, or put together, a constitution through your tribes that you, the people, have put together, your amendments, and we take our president out here. If we don't like our president, you better believe people are going to get him out of that seat. And I think it's just time to uprise your tribes and build that council and let it not be the UN and if Friends of the African Union. Let it be the leaders now. Let leaders that you guys see forth. Maybe those people don't see themselves as leaders, but maybe their tribe needs to acknowledge them as that leader. And we need to get, you guys need to take back your seats that belong to you guys rightfully. That those in seats right now, in my opinion, from the outside, are not rightfully theirs. Those seats have been stolen, all 54 of them then.
Yes, I would empower you to establish your own kingdom, because what I see is the government in place, although new leaders are in the seats, it was put into place by invaders. And
It was fact.
you know, my heart's with you in empowering you to establishing your own kingdom.
And
Honestly.
I think it's such a is actually very interesting how Tara sounds the same with Ajamu, because most of the things you are talking about, these are the things that Ajamu talks about, and sometimes when he talks about the war, the thing is that you don't actually know. The reason why we are saying you don't actually know is that some of these people are actually stronger than the institutions that they occupy. I don't know whether you
Yes.
understand
Yeah, I
that.
will.
Yeah,
What I will say, King, is that we might be sounding alike because the
yeah,
truth is the truth.
yes,
So she's way over
Yeah.
there, I'm way over here, but we got enough, human intelligence to realize,
yes.
well, something's not right. So
Mm,
I've come across people like Tara, very very frequently. I come
mm,
across, but it is a gem in supposedly, it's something that is rarely found. However, what we say is what we see and what we've noticed, and unfortunately they're trying to silence people like Tara and myself, and so forth. So I once again, like I told my son, I said, in Yoruba tradition, we have a concept called atunwa, which says that if something happens to me physically, I come back in my lineage. So,
Yes.
my son's, if he has a son, then that could possibly be me, or his son, if he has a son, that could possibly be me coming back in my lineage. So, don't worry. I'm not worried about it. This is just flesh and blood. I believe this is something
Yes.
deeper than that. So I'm not really worried about anything. It's just that trying to do what I can to get the message out and so forth. There's a lot of confusion when you're dealing with different groups and different ideas, but the bottom line is, back to what we were saying. Are you going to do what is the right with the money? You're going to do the right thing with the money. Are you going to build that road? Are you going to fix the Wi-Fi? Are you going to give the land back? Are you going to, step down because you can't rule with integrity? You see, so it goes back to the basic thing. Are you brave enough, and do you have enough courage to say, "Hey, I'm not doing right. I gotta move out of this spot," or I'm in this spot and something is wrong, and I'm gonna make it known. But a lot of people, they're scared. They're
Yeah.
scared deep down inside. They are scared. They're fearful, and they crawl up in a little hole, and they complain. Stop complaining. Do something. Do
Yeah.
something. Okay, and get with 30 people
Yeah.
if you're afraid. But I don't know. Y'all stand together and hold hands. I don't know. Do something. Do something.
Yeah. Don't be complacent. Yes. Yes.
I don't know if I might chip in there. Thank you very much. I think I must chip in there with your permission. You have said you have both agreed on a very important issue here, and I'm glad that we have people in the United States that know more about African culture than we ever gave them credit for. You are talking about a solution, and that is the problem with us Africans. I always say, let's go into a meeting And when we come out of that meeting, let us come out with a mission to put action to the words that were said in the meeting. And what you are saying is that let's go back to the roots. Let's get, and a person might ask, how do we get back to whatever it is that you are mentioning? And I always said to the people around here, we call ourselves comrades. I always say comrades, but look here. Whenever we choose a chairperson for our organization, whoever leads this, whether it be at branch level or whatever, we say things like, we want Wi-Fi. We don't say, can you give us Wi-Fi? We want Wi-Fi. We want better schools. We want schools
Yes.
with no pit toilets. We want clean water.
Yes.
We want electricity. Can you deliver on those
Yes.
5 things?
Mm.
And if not, if he's beating about the bush, how can you get us there? Can you get us there? If you cannot, we do not elect you. Finish and clear. We don't. It doesn't mean we don't like you. It's not nothing personal. We just want someone who can deliver on these things in the next 5 years or in the next term, and then we go forward, because we always say we don't want, what is common with us here is that we don't want Hozo to be our chairperson. Now that he's in the leadership position, he's not doing anything. But did you give him a mandate? Do you know, did you give him a mandate? And you must give him a mandate even before he starts to be in office. And I always
Yes.
ask them, before we chastise him, did we even get him out of office? Did we apply our minds on who is going to get there, and is that person going to deliver? Because most of our leaders are accidental. I'm afraid to say, we just see them. "Gee, this guy is our this guy this guy is our leader now," and
Yeah.
we don't know where he comes from, and we are afraid to ask or something like that.
Yeah.
You hit it on the nail. That's
Yeah.
what we want. And when we get out of this, soon as we switch off this, everyone has a responsibility to say, what am I going to do? We're going to spread the word throughout the rest of Africa to say, if we are sitting in our little corners there, and that is where it starts. A person thinks it starts in a stadium full of 90,000 people. No, it starts in a corner with 5 people to say, who do we want as our leader?
Yes.
And then the person
Yes.
raises their hand. Are you going to be able to do this? And if he raises up, how are you going to achieve it? No, we're not happy about this. How are you going to achieve it? We see this person being the one that is going to do it, and that's it. From now on, we stop electing people by by chance. The next thing,
Oh,
I'm state president.
so that was so elaborate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can
I
hear you.
can.
Yeah, but now, Kuso, you see, when we talk of Africa, I always want the South Africans to know that they live in a more democratic nation than any other African country. Now, you talk of election in other African countries. You don't elect people. There are cabals who sit together and select somebody. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. Your
Yeah, I
vote does not.
understand.
Yeah,
Yes, I
your vote.
do.
You see, your vote does not count. There are certain people who sit, and um there is a term that they use in my country. The national funds, people call it national cake. National cake, which means if you get into power, you take as much as you can, right? Because you're not going to be there forever. So when they get into power, they take as much as they can. In fact, the current president that we have right now, the reason why many people never loved him is that he tries to fight corruption. And imagine the whole country, everybody now accepted corruption as a norm. Just like Brother
Mm.
Ajamu was saying, it's an individual thing, right? So it went to a point, that if I'm to show you a road, you must pay me some money. If you lost your way and I'm to give you direction, you will pay me some money. That was how corrupt the place went into. And now the corruption was on every level. So now when I'm contesting for the president, it's not what I can offer in the long term, but it's what I can offer now, because these people are hungry. If I can come with 1,000 rand and distribute to each and every person, even if they know that I'm a thief, they're still gonna vote me into office because they don't have anything to eat at that time. See, if you have gone to a level that you can sell your integrity, then
Yeah.
something is terribly wrong.
Wow.
If
Yeah.
somebody is poor to a level that they can sell their integrity, and that is what this microscopic few people has made African people into. The masses are poor to a point that their integrity has a price,
It-
and that price is not
it's
expensive.
compromised. Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I.
Even here in the U.S., as far as election is concerned, when you're dealing with, like the presidential election, for an example, you have this thing called the Electoral College. So you put all your votes in, everybody thinks their votes count, but in reality, the person in the actual House of Representatives or the Senate, who is the Electoral College, actually will look at the popular vote and decide, well, it's going this way or it's going that way. And then they decide, okay, this is who's going to be president. That's why you have the last two presidents were not voted using the popular vote. They were voted through the Electoral College. So you realize, if you're smart enough, you're like, oh man, my vote really doesn't count. So it's one of those things. The illusion is you're voting, but the truth is, no, you're not. You're not. You're not. You think you
South
are, but you're not.
and South Africa's, I mean, we could use South Africa as a very great example of voting that takes place without any black people. I mean, really. How did that happen? How was there a vote with no indigenous votes? Like, I honestly think you guys should just vote them out and you should deport them because they all came into your guys' country, just like they deport people that come here. They simply just send them back home. They came into your guys' country. They put it together, a government. They voted on it without any African votes. How?
That's a good
How does
point.
that happen? Like, no, that don't happen, and that would not happen anywhere else, and it can't be accepted, and it's intolerable, and that's how it all began. So we could just do the same thing they would do, and that would be deport everybody that's not indigenous, and then it makes it harder to become a citizen. Give your guys control back to your power and minerals and golds. Don't look
Back
for
to
us
the
to
people.
back your gold with fiat money. Stamp it. Make your currency work. Dubai works on gold only. Keep it within your country. Do it. Why not? Yeah, you guys would be the wealthiest country ever. Why do you think Britain came over? And why do you think you guys are really still suppressed? I mean, really, it is government control. They are
That's
trying to keep you
that's a
guys right where
very
you
good
are.
point.
They
Very good
don't.
point.
Why are we bringing in the world banks to back your gold?
Right.
Excuse
You
me?
have
What?
everything you need.
Stop a second. Hold up. You guys have a power play. You guys have a power play to dominate. It's just understanding that you guys have the power play to take it back. And that's why Africa will uprise, because you guys are the pearl of the world. It's a known fact. So we can sit and question why there are starving and why they're hungry, why there's dirty water and no dams being built. Why aren't you growing fish? Why is there no schoolhouses or internet? Yeah, I'm going to question
Misappropriation.
the misappropriation of funds through the government, corruption. Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely. Absolutely. And you're going to trace it back to Britain. Absolutely. And it's just time, my friends, that Africa uprises. And
Yeah,
you guys can do it without us.
you see, I ain't the only one talking that way.
That was deep. Like,
Yeah,
that
but
was
it's funny.
deep.
What's funny, everything she says is true, and I've mentioned it, but yet people point the finger at me. Oh, he hates people. Oh, this and that. Blah, blah, blah. No, I know it's not about hate. It's about the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. That's it. And then what's funny about what she's saying is that the population in Azania, the population in Azania it's numerous. It's more than the people who are in supposedly power. So it's one of those things. Do they all bond together and say, look, enough is enough? We're not going to move another inch until we get this thing right. No one's done that yet. No one's done that yet.
Well, we're filling Seattle streets. We're rioting and protesting. Like, yeah, Africa, if you guys do this and do it right, it could be powerful for the world. It could be a sustainability to the world, even if done properly. All the way down, we can talk hemp and sustainability. There's no reason you can't create hemp building and doing so much for the atmosphere and for the waters. There's no reason we can't be building dams and helping the drought and growing fish to feed a village. What is that? Why aren't we? Why isn't it done already? Good question. Keep asking those questions. So everybody who is listening in Africa needs to ask those questions. If you see it, wonder why. Because if you wonder, maybe you should be that change. Because we need those minds and those children who are thinking about these things. If that child is there and they're hungry and they're in school, give them the power. Let them be the leaders and change. Here we have youth governments. They run the same as our government. There's no reason you can't pick your leaders who are ready to take that play because they have the energy, they have the drive, and they are questioning it. And no great change comes without a power, without struggle. No great person is going to do this without anybody trying to tear them down, saying it's being used race, whether it's hate, whatever excuse might be pointed at you because you are doing something. You're rocking the boat. You are making people question the reality. And that is how we're going to end this mindset that we have all been programmed to these colonial thoughts. And it is. All of us are colonialized and it needs to change. And that's why we are acknowledging our lands, acknowledging our indigenous, and empowering all of us to take responsibility and accountability and support this change within our system for humanity's sake, for humanity as a whole. And those who are in power, who are allowing inhumane things to happen to people, should be held accountable. And the world is watching Africa, and the world would support Africa in holding their leaders accountable to the crimes of inhumanity. The crimes that are being committed against Africa and in other locations is inhumane. And it should be questioned, and it matters. It matters more than ever right now because I don't even comprehend how come there's still hungry children. We have cure for AIDS. That our brother doctor who died it was the AIDS cure that we have. Why are we being killed over it? Other than, again, back to corporation and the control of the pharmaceutical industry. Money. You guys have resources. You don't need our money.
When the poster, we made a poster for this show, and this other young lady from Uganda, she once contested for the presidential this in Uganda. When she saw the picture of Terra on the poster, she sent to me. She said, "Wow, you guys are going to have a powerful discussion." I was like, "Wait a minute, do you know her somewhere?" And yeah, and she did not reply to me or anything. But now I just discovered what she was saying, and this kind of discussion, man, like thank you very much. And sometimes we need to hear it from, like what Kuso was saying, that we are surprised of how much you guys know about us, and how much you guys are willing to have a productive conversation, not just noise making and all of those things. So, like, really, we can go on, but I want us to come to a conclusion for
Mm-hmm.
today. Or then, um, like this show for today, it was dedicated to me
Mm-hmm.
because if I live here, just like what Okuso is saying, that I should be asking more questions. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do in order to bring the change that I am looking up forward for? What program am I gonna put together? How many people am I supposed to talk to? And all of those things. And all that you guys have said here is all about, do you have a heart for it? If you are going to put up your hand, are you really putting up your hand because you have seen a challenge and you want to be a solution to that challenge? And man, like
Yes.
I have learned so much. I'm one young person that believe that the Africa of our dream is possible. It's
Mm-hmm.
possible. And with this motivation that I've got from each and every one of you here, there is no stopping me, and there is no stopping of African youth across the continent and even beyond, because we have people that believe in what we are doing. So,
Yes, and
thank
you're
you, thank
winning,
you
and
guys
you're
very
winning.
much. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Saying
So,
you're winning. Just continue the bitter struggle. The powers that be, they're in fear of you. The candidates are being arrested. None of this wouldn't occur if they were not in fear of losing all of that free ride that they're getting off of the people right now. It belongs to you. You're winning. Just know that. They're in fear.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the candidates are being arrested.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power. You have that power right now. No, you have the power.
thank you very much, Justin. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you guys. You are phenomenal. You are wonderful, and yeah. Or may our ancestors be with you. The ancestors of Africa be with you. And Mr. Koso, I thank you very much, sir, for coming. And I
Yeah.
believe that I'm gonna meet with you one on one very soon because we are in South Africa together.
Definitely.
Our
Mm-hmm.
organization called the United New African Family. We are really pushing it. Ajamu is doing awesome work about the organization there in United States. They are supporting us the way that they can, and we have been pushing, and we
Mm-hmm.
believe that the change is coming. And just like you said, the crops of young leaders who are radical about what the right thing should be. And we believe that if we stand on the shoulders of people like you, we will be able to see very, 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 very far. So thank you very much for coming, Mr. Hosa. And to my co-host,
Thank you very much.
Mr. Adamu, I always call him my brother in the struggle. He has been miles away, like thousands of miles away from me, but he has become a brother
Mm-hmm.
that believes and is
Yeah.
pushing this whole thing. Guys, thank you very much. So before we go, let our viewers, please, you will just say a word. We start with Mr. Hoso. Just say a word or two to them before we close.
Okay, I would
Thank you.
like to thank everyone for the time. It was really also an eye opener for me. People like Terry. The it just goes to show. I love the passion with which they are articulating their issues, to show how close to heart this issue is to them. And I hope we will not disappoint you. I hope all the people who have streamed into this session will also allude to the fact that we will not disappoint you. We will come out of here with our heads held high, and we will start taking action into the right direction. And thank you very much. Thank you so much. You have been an inspiration today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Russo and Tara and Houston. You guys are awesome couples, man. Like we wanna we wanna hear from you. Can you say a word or two to our viewers? Because a lot of people are viewing, and a lot of people are going to view later on. Yeah.
Well, we thank everybody from all the lands of which we all stand. I hope that we can unite in harmony and see each other for our hearts of gold. And we look forward to supporting you guys in the uprise of Africa in any way that we can help empower you guys. And we just love you all. And we really are always here. And I hope you guys have just all the wind beneath your wings that you guys need to fly. So thank you guys for your time. Each and every one of you brothers, thank you. Sincerely, thank you for your voice. King, what you are doing with your microphone, you can reach millions just through what you are doing. Your impact goes greater and further than I think even what you imagine. I think you're a great voice. I nominate you to be a political party president. King, go be the king, King. You got the voice.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, you guys, for your time. So, Mr. Ajimo, I want you to say a word or two to UNAF, the United New African Family. Like we're
Yeah, the
pushing
only
this
thing.
move.
Yeah, the only thing I would like to say as far as UNAP is concerned is that we must come together. We must unite now. Now is the time. Now is the time to get working. Now is the time to learn, about each other. You know what I'm saying? Now is the time to just come together. We got to come together. We got to work together. We actually have to do something. No longer can we talk. The talking should come after we've done something. So you do something first, then you talk later. My grandmother, when I was younger, she would tell me, if I saw a snake in the garden, she would say, if you're afraid of the snake or you think it's a harm, the only way you can kill the snake is you have to cut off the head. So I was like, wow, that's deep. So she was basically saying, if at any system, anything that is in place, only way you can get rid of it is you have to go to the top. And
Yes.
I mean, you could take whatever you want from that. I'm not advocating anything, violently or anything like that. It is what it is. So we need to stop being colonialist. We need to start, building our own future and so forth. But unity is key. And UNAF, please understand that our aim at UNAF is for unification, and it's also through economics. So economically coming together, no organization runs on oxygen and nitrogen and so forth. It runs on funds, runs on money. All right. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So anyway, thank you, Africa, for listening. Well, thank you worldwide. Anybody in the world that's listening, because this thing could go all over the planet, which is great. All right. So we're all about unification. We're all about learning from one another. All right. Thank you, King. You also a brother to me, deep down inside. A brother down. The brother in Free State. He's a brother too. I hope to be in Johannesburg this summer. If I come, yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. They might kick me out. They might kick me. I might get banned. I might get banned. You know what I mean? I might get banned. But I'm gonna invoke. Hey, I'm gonna say, hey, how could I get banned? I didn't come
Yeah.
take nothing. I'm not taking nothing from these people. How you gonna ban me? And I'm still trying to work on that museum thing. Why I gotta pay to go in to see my people's stuff? I don't get that. I'm working on that. All right. And the Wi-Fi, y'all got to fix that Wi-Fi. Just fix the Wi-Fi. That's it. Just build the roads. Build the roads. All right. Next time.
Thank you guys very much. We have come to the end of this episode. And oh man, we enjoy ourselves. Guys, we see you next week, same time and same place. Do have yourself a blessed
All right.
weekend ahead
Odabo.
of you.
Dile, 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 yo a little gal. Mille, 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 my.
All right. Odabo.